we're kind of all on the same page here, which is like we lose our credibility if we don't talk about, as if they're not going to notice Biden's old. Yeah, please, like I do an old job. Oh,
old.
wow, honey, I had never seen that before. You
Right.
know, Bill Maher makes a good point. Joe Biden is old. Yeah, I mean, or whatever it is. I can't say it enough. I said it many times, I would vote for his head in a jar of blue liquid over Donald Trump. But that doesn't mean that I'm not, first of all, I think it's a moot point at this point. He's going to lose.
Who, Biden?
Yes.
No, you're wrong.
No.
I'm going to bet you.
Oh, great.
What should we bet?
No, nothing. You
Can
win.
I have ownership of this place?
No.
Come on.
No. I'm
Ownership.
It's not the kind of thing I would.
Can I throw a bitchin' lesbian party here?
Yes, that is the honest truth they don't want to hear. Now going into this clip, this guy cut off mic after the truth is being spewed out on his show. I don't know if you've seen this. Take a look at this.
For the best, plan for the worst, George. But I think when you look at the totality of the circumstances in this case, this is a prosecution that should have never been brought. This was a case tried in front of a judge who clearly should have recused. I think we have a lot of fair complaints with the way that this trial was conducted. And I think ultimately President Trump will be vindicated on appeal.
The ethics panel for the state of New York said the judge was not required to recuse.
Well, I think when you look at binding Supreme Court precedent, including most notably the seminal case on judicial recusal, Caperton v. Massey, even the appearance of impropriety can require a judge to recuse for reasons of due process. Here, I think we have far more than an appearance of impropriety. The fact that Judge Merchan contributed to Joe Biden during the 2020 election, many of the other issues that we've raised in our recusal papers throughout this case. I think Judge Merchan should have clearly recused, and I think that's going to be an issue that the appellate courts are going to have to deal with.
If appearance of impropriety is the standard for recusal, then why shouldn't Justice Thomas and Justice Alito have to recuse from the cases before the Supreme Court?
I think the appearance of impropriety there is not nearly as severe. I think you're not talking about financial conflicts of interest. You're certainly not talking about a judge who's violated judicial code of conduct in terms of political contributions. I think that's frankly stunning. Speaking as a former attorney, former law clerk, I've never heard of a judge contributing to political candidates before. I've certainly never heard of a judge sitting in judgment over the opponent of the political candidate he contributed to. I think the American people see through this sort of thing. I think that's why President Trump's poll numbers seem to be rising rather than falling. The Trump campaign obviously smashed political fundraising records, including raising money from tens of thousands of new donors in the 24 hours after this verdict. I think the American people see this judgment for what it was, and we're certainly hopeful that on appeal we can get it thrown out just because of how wildly unjust it is.
Yes, I don't know why this will hit the truth. It is like the mainstream media has picked up another talking point. Oh, Trump is a felon. Watching some of their shows these days, I realize they cannot put out a show without mentioning this felon thing about 10 times. Recently, triggered ABC host cut off interview after Trump lawyer calmly schooled him on Biden DOJ collusions. According to this article, ABC George cut off attorney for former President Trump after the lawyer suggested President Biden was involved with a New York criminal case against his political rival. I just decided to cover this topic simply because there are loopholes. A lot of people, don't see what these people are doing. It is important. I show you all this. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do that. It would do you no harm if you share out this video.
That was my favorite part about doing the book. I interviewed about 100 duty officers from the White House. And these are people that come, they're relatively young, people who come from all over the government, the CIA, the DIA, Defense Department, military. And, some people like to call those people the deep state.
Deep state.
Well, the big thing I learned doing this book is that the deep state is packed with patriots.
Yes.
People who go to work every single day on the front lines of the most intense crises the country faces and do it to serve their country and to serve the presidency, not the president. They don't care about political parties. They're there to serve the presidency and the institution.
And they're doing it anonymously.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
As one of them told me, Mike Seeley said, we serve in silence.
Yes, I believe you've heard him. He says the deep state is full of patriots. You can clearly see exactly where he was diving to. And at the beginning of this clip, you saw what happened, trying to defend, this issue of financial interest, which I don't even want to go into it because they believe that if you are siding with people who says this somebody was wrong, you are spewing conspiracy theory, things like that.
Mr. Trump is using the Justice Department to go after his perceived enemies. I feel worried about the prospect of the Justice Department being used as a tool of this president or any. In our little banana republic, any capable prosecutor can get a grand jury to hand down an indictment of something as innocent as a ham sandwich.
On the president's behalf is weaponizing the Justice Department to go after the president's enemies. When you win an election, you don't seek to just prosecute the losing side.
The president using the Justice Department as a weapon to get what he wants.
Department of Justice is totally politicized.
Sticking the Department of Justice on political opponents, threatening to imprison his political rival, Banana Republic style.
Trying to exact revenge against all of his enemies, tin pot dictator in a banana republic.
Is acting more like a banana republic dictator.
He's using government resources to go after his political opponent.
Essentially, we are a banana republic, that we are seeking to have a bogus and criminal investigation into a political opponent.
And that's using the Department of Justice to also target Trump's political opponent for nefarious reasons. This is a massive abuse of power.
You see the double standard. This is the mainstream media. These are the talking points that we're pulling up when Trump was there. Oh, he will weaponize the government. He want to do this. He will do this. When something like this is happening, you do the same immediately. They just want to silence you. Like they will accuse people, like you're spewing out nonsense. Meanwhile, they have been doing that for a very long time. This is a clear example I decided to put out here so you will understand how these people operate. When there is something, it's like they sit in a meeting, they have the same talking point. This man will spew the same thing, this man will spew the same thing. Then, now when you say, oh, the Biden administration is weaponizing the government, they just come after you, which is insane. This is one thing I noticed with the mainstream media. You have seen CNN, MSNBC, CBS, The View, saying just the same thing when Trump was there. Now we are clearly seeing what they were accusing Trump of, which we all know it was not happening. This is just one example out of 100 that I've seen. So I decided to put this so you can clearly understand exactly what is happening here. Thank you guys for always being there, sharing out my videos. I want to appreciate people that will never stop supporting me. And sometimes I do make mistakes, like giving out political opinions that you don't agree with. That is how it should be. I'm a human being. Sometimes I say things that are not okay. Sometimes I will decide just to report the news, like I should not make a mistake. But that is not the reason I created this platform. There are people who say they don't understand how I speak. I'm rapping, I'm speaking like this. I believe if you watch me over and over, you should be able to at least understand me, how I speak.
Yeah.
They had a few people on there who weren't like fully.
I think she's just got a different position.